How much time do you spend every day debating with yourself whether you should go and study or procrastinate a little longer? Well, let me give you some advice. Sometimes you have to ignore what you're feeling and just go through the motions. You might feel like watching TV. You might feel like doing something. You might not feel like doing something. And instead of not doing it, just go ahead and go through the motions. Get it done. Get out there and do what you're supposed to do. It's the problem most students have. They negotiate with procrastination. And at first, it's difficult to overcome. But the more you do it, the more you make yourself study even when you don't feel like it, the easier it will become. Get up and go and study. We all know the students that complain about their grades. They make excuses why they couldn't achieve higher. But because they're making excuses, they blame everyone else but themselves, so they don't do anything about it. They don't fix anything. They don't improve anything, so they continue getting the same grades. If all you do is complain, nothing's going to happen in your life. Be obsessed over your future. Be consumed by the possibilities. The super successful don't stop when they hit their targets. They simply reset and go again. That dream is not going to just sit there and wait for you to come and get it. You've got to chase it. You've got to chase it like a man possessed. You've got to go and get it. So, what are you doing about it? You've got to take action with your studying. Find a solution to your problem. Don't be the problem. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. If you increase your studying by 50%, your grades are also likely to increase. And if they don't, then find out why.
And let me tell you what happens when you take responsibility for your life and you see the opportunities in front of you for what they are. You start to take control. You realize that there's nothing else, no one else that's controlling your life. It's all on you. In the words of Gary Vaynerchuk, your ego and your insecurity doesn't want to take the hit. You don't want to admit that you messed up, because for some reason so many of you are living your lives based on other people's opinions, and that is crippling you. The way you really eliminate fear is to not care about anyone else's opinion. My losses are mine. I'll deal with them myself. I don't need your 2 cents. You're losing plenty on your own. If you let somebody else's opinion, whether it's your friend, your partner, your mom, your dad, your aunt, your uncle, if you are genuinely living the exact life you want to live, then what will happen is you'll stop waiting for the right time to make a move. You'll stop waiting to make a change or break bad habits. You'll stop blaming others for the lack of happiness in your life. But if your life has been out of control for so long, regaining control will not happen overnight. If you're committed to experiencing your own happiness and creating positive things in your life for yourself, you will. People are waiting for the right time to make a move, take a chance, make a change, or break a bad habit. Yet that right time never seems to appear. Each of us have plenty of excuses as to why we're stuck in the metaphorical mud of life, feeling like we control little more than the air we breathe into our lungs. And the truth is, it's easy to blame others for our lack of happiness. When it comes to studying, consistency is so important. A lot of people win and then they chill for 2 or 3 months, but real winners, they have their finger on the pulse all the time. They're always looking for the next one. They're not studying to get satisfied. They're studying to learn everything there is to know. They never get to a place where they feel like they made it, because as long as you're moving towards achieving something, you keep studying, you keep reading, you keep learning, you stay hungry. And watch how it changes you, day by day, month by month. You'll evolve into a completely different person.
It takes sacrifices. That's what it takes to be great. Any kind of success that you'll experience in your life will take sacrifice. And that's the case for your studying too. You need to be willing to go the extra mile. Someone who wakes up early, goes to the gym, and walks into the empty library while everyone else is still sleeping. You will get tired. But if you have a strong enough reason, you will find the strength to push through. Why are you different than all the other people in your class who are trying to achieve exactly the same as you? What makes you stand out from them? What makes you deserve it more than they deserve it? Somebody is waiting for you to give up. Someone is waiting for you to fall. So don't just talk about your hustle. Don't just talk about how much you're studying. Show me.
Every single one of us only has 24 hours in a day. That includes me. That includes you. That includes your friends, your teachers, your parents. It also includes Bill Gates, Richard Branson, and Will Smith. And so, if you only have 24 hours a day, your success is solely dependent on how you use that 24 hours. How many of your 24 do you spend mindlessly scrolling through social media, or on the phone to friends, or watching aimless videos on YouTube? So what's the difference between someone who is successful in their education, or in business, or however you want to define it, and someone who is unsuccessful? The successful person uses every single hour of their 24 hours wisely. That's it. That's really it. The person failing their exams will be spending much of their 24 hours doing things that do not align with their long-term goals. The person at the top of the class will be spending all of their 24 hours reading, writing, learning, researching, asking questions, planning, preparing, exercising, and eating healthily. Because I can tell you all about your life if you show me your schedule and you stick to it. If there are empty gaps in the schedule where you're not doing anything productive, I know exactly where you're going to be in 10 years' time.
You can pass your exams. You can be great at whatever it is that you choose to be great at. But you have to put in the work. You have to want it bad. You have to want it so bad that you're willing to lose sleep for it. You have to want it so bad that you're willing to lose friends over it. You have to want it so bad that you never, ever give up. As Steve Jobs says, I'm here to make a dent in the universe. You will never hear me complain that it's someone else's fault why I'm not getting the grades I have the potential of achieving. If I don't like where I am, I'll work harder. My current situation is a perfect reflection of the hard work or lack of work I put in. When you look at the all-time greats, there's one thing in common among them all. They all have relentless, sickening work ethic. To get to the top, you have to skip watching TV, going to every party, scrolling through social media, and wasting your time on unproductive things. Because while the average student is sleeping, you are hustling.
If you're doing well at school or university, if you're doing more than the group of friends you hang around with, if you're getting better grades than them, if you're doing more to move yourself forward than they are, then it's easy to fool yourself into thinking that you're working to your full potential. But it depends. It depends where your group of friends have set the bar. Let me explain. If you run the 100-meter sprint with a group of people that can't run as fast as you, of course you'll win, quite easily. It wouldn't take much effort. But if you run against people that are much faster than you might come 6th or 7th place, or even last. But it would push you and inspire you to run faster. It would make you push that little bit more. Instead of training 3 days a week, you might start training 5 days a week. And it doesn't matter that you came in last place. Your time is faster. And that's why you need to surround yourself with people that are better than you. It's these people that will push you up and encourage you and motivate you. There's a quote: "You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." Because their characteristics and habits and ways of doing things will rub off on you. If your friends are all letting life pass them by and they don't prioritize their studying, then it's likely that that behavior will rub off on you too. It's one of the single biggest improvements you can make to your life. To evaluate and, if necessary, upgrade the people you spend the most time with. As Will Smith once said, "As a child, my parents always told me you can be whatever you want to be. You can do whatever you want to do." But I didn't totally believe it. Yet I went out into the world and I carried myself, and I held my head high, and I stood there and I looked people in their eyes, and I talked to people as if I was deserving of all the things that this planet has to offer.
Some of you are doing okay. You're getting decent grades at university. You're passing your exams. You're getting your assignments in on time. But you shouldn't be satisfied with just doing okay. No one should be aiming for average, and that includes you. You need to be set on climbing to the next level. And you're not going to reach the next level until you commit to becoming better than you were yesterday. When you start giving more, you'll start receiving more. More opportunities, more prosperity, stronger relationships, and better health. If you push yourself, you can always raise the bar in your life. You have to keep raising the bar. First you set the standard, then you raise the bar. You're only going to rise above average by working hard, by grinding, by hustling, by believing in yourself, by believing in yourself when no one else does, by becoming obsessed with reaching success, by sacrificing today for a better tomorrow, by getting out of your comfort zone and pushing yourself past perceived limitations, by sticking it out when things get tough, by using your pain as fuel to drive you to success, by taking responsibility of your life no matter what happens, by not using excuses to allow your poor results, by doing whatever it takes. When your goals are so big that they scare small minds, and you're so driven that you can envision this goal every minute of every day, it is then that great things start to happen.
The struggle. It's very simple. The attitude you have when facing struggles and obstacles is what determines whether you will be successful. And if you're going to commit the next 2, 3, 4 years of your life to your education, then your attitude is everything. Being able to keep studying despite the adversity thrown at you. You fail an exam, keep studying. You argue with your friends, keep studying. You have money problems, keep studying. You keep on marching on through the struggle, the chaos, the frustration, the procrastination, the disappointment, the anger, the regret, when all that is there, but you keep studying through it all. You know you have the discipline to be a successful person. It's the ability to know that even though at the time you feel overwhelmed and overpowered, you know deep down that it too shall pass. You will find a way. You will keep studying to chase your goal, to make you proud, to make your family proud, through thick and thin. You will continue studying.
Confucius said one time, "He who said he can and he who said he can't are both usually right." So, ask yourself this: what do you want to be remembered for? I hope you want to be remembered for someone who gets results, for someone that gets good grades, for someone that has their health in check, for someone who has their financial situation in check. We can start now. Right now. Let's make it happen. It's the easiest way to turn your grades around. Changing your attitude about your studying. It's when you decide that the grades you're achieving right now are not representative of what you're able to achieve. Because what you'll notice is that these students that are getting the top grades, their attitude towards their studying is completely different to those that are achieving the lowest grades. Attitude is more important than circumstances, more important than failures, more important than successes, more important than money. It's even more important than talent or skill. And we have a choice every day. What attitude are we going to have when approaching our studying? You can't change what grades you were given up to now. You can't change the exams that you failed. But you can change the attitude you have towards your studying today. And you know, it's going to be hard. You know there's going to be ups and downs, but that's what's going to make it worth it in the end. If you really want it.
So what if it's hard? It's going to be worth it. It's worth it to show the world I'm not just average like most people. It's worth it to show my friends, family, and teachers that I can become something, that I am capable of achieving great things. I can achieve whatever I want. It's worth it to me to pay this kind of price. It really doesn't matter what you're going through. How you deal with it is all that matters. The only way you're going to push past the mountain of obstacles, the late night studying until 3 in the morning, the multiple deadlines that just keep coming and coming, you need to have extraordinary focus, a crystal clear vision of exactly what it is you're aiming to achieve. Whether it's getting that A grade or 4.0 GPA, or getting into the most prestigious university in the country, you need to work out exactly how you're going to make it happen. You need to make it the first thing you think about when you wake up. It's only then that you have a chance. Because then, when that procrastination starts sliding into your life, you will muster the force to destroy that obstacle. Do you think like an A student, or are you falling back into that C mindset? Your success is completely dependent on how you use the 24 hours in your day. Everyone has the same amount of time. Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Will Smith, they all have 24 hours. And you'll see this with the students in your class, the students failing their exams. You'll probably notice the same patterns. They wake up whenever they want to wake up. They might go to class, they might not. It depends if there's something more interesting on Netflix to watch. When their exams are approaching, they don't care. They might start studying a week before, or a few days before, or even just the night before. Don't fall into that mindset. It's not okay.
Enough. When it comes to graduation day, you're going to look in the mirror and say, I did this. Despite all the obstacles and setbacks, I did it. And that feeling you will have of accomplishment and triumph will be like nothing you've ever experienced. It's a feeling you will take with you for the rest of your life. So when it's time to study and your automatic reaction is to fight it and procrastinate, take a few minutes to think about it. Think about what you're doing. That small decision of choosing to procrastinate is you choosing to settle with what you have. Push past it. Study. Their dreams.
One of the big differences is that the A-grade student goes to work. He sits down and overcomes resistance. It doesn't matter if he's feeling tired or he's had a long day. It doesn't matter how he's feeling. He sits down and he goes to work. And he has pride in that. You've got to ask yourself, why do I want to become an A-grade student? I'll tell you the reason why it was important for me when I was at university. It was because I wanted to be the best version of myself, so I could train myself to be wiser, think faster, work more efficiently, and ultimately, I knew that all those challenges that came up were training for the next challenges in life. As Anthony Cheam once said, if your goal is to get an A grade overall in your exams in 6 months' time, and you're only working at C grade level right now, then the amount you need to study needs to increase by at least 50%. If you continue studying the way you are, you'll continue getting the same grades you're getting. If you're studying 2 hours at nighttime, then you need to move up to 3 hours, then 4, then eventually 5. If you don't train the muscle, when it comes time to do the actual exam, you're not going to be able to achieve that A grade. An A grade student takes full responsibility for what shows up in their life. There's a whole load of problems that show up daily in our lives that we have no control over. The weather, the economy, the government, illness, a lot of that we can't control. However, would you not agree that becoming the best version of yourself, upgrading your skills, obtaining the best qualifications you can, would that not put you in a better, stronger position to deal with everything that gets thrown at you? Do you think that upgrading yourself and becoming a wiser, smarter, more driven and successful person would benefit the people around you that you love? Of course it would.
But I'm not so easily convinced and naive to think that getting good grades is as easy as pressing a button, and within seconds you're getting A grades and your life is better. You may not be able to get to this level of studying in a matter of seconds or minutes, but it's easily possible to achieve it in a matter of weeks or months if we just consciously choose to face what's in front of us. And the first step is to just get things done. Get your studying done. If you say you're going to study 3 hours tonight, then do it. Because when you start to get things done, you'll realize that you'll start to have more success. And sometimes a big part of success is just not being lazy and just doing what you know you have to do. 90% of it is just showing up. Just show up and do the work. You're not going to feel perfect every day, and it's the same with every student in your class that's achieving A grades right now. If those students only studied when they felt in the mood to study, they'd be getting C's and D's right now, because everyone has those days where we just don't feel like studying. There's gotta be those days that you just have to push through. There might even be more days when you don't feel like it than when you do. But that's okay, we've all been there. And the top 1%, they push through it. If you're chasing grades, then you might as well just give up now. The grades are nothing. There's nothing there. It's not the grades you should be chasing, it's the individual that is capable of achieving those grades that you should be chasing. Those students that are achieving a 4.0 GPA, you've got to study their character, because that's when you'll start to see exactly what it takes. The daily habits that are followed religiously, the hours of studying late at night while everyone else is sleeping, the 100% attendance in class. And when you study the characters of people getting poor grades, you'll see failure everywhere. You'll see it all falling apart. The procrastination taking control, the lack of drive and focus, skipping classes when they just don't feel like it.
It's your choice you have to make. Are you moving forward on a journey to better yourself? Or are you sat down and giving in, throwing in the towel, making do with what you have, not willing to take the risk? Because that's what most people are doing. They don't give a damn about achieving anything in their life. You can see it in their actions, in their behavior. So don't be most people.
Ed Milet, one of the top peak performance experts on the planet, explains it like this: failure and setbacks, students quitting, failing the exams, having retakes, dropping out. It's all going to happen. Just get ready. Don't give in to that stuff. Don't give in to the fears. Don't give in to the setbacks. You're gonna have failures. It's part of the journey. And when you get weak, when your classmates give up, when your friends tell you you shouldn't be studying so much, or that you're not good enough, or that there's something better, or whatever they tell you, you remember why you're doing it.
You've got to have a persistent attitude that you're gonna win. You gotta have a positive outlook. You gotta be optimistic. You gotta know you're gonna win. Right now, you need to believe you're gonna win. Because, listen to me, the price you pay for not being the best version of yourself is too extreme. You'll have to carry the burden of failure for the rest of your life.
Start to stand up a little taller. Start to walk more confidently. Start becoming the best version of you. You can do it quietly in your own way. You can do it in the way you want. But somehow they gotta look at you and think, okay, I ain't gonna mess with that one. You're gonna have to put up with some failures. You're gonna have to put yourself into some uncomfortable places. Listen to me. Do it. Put yourself into an uncomfortable place. Don't negotiate. Don't try to navigate it in your head. Unrealistic people rule the world. As Owen Cook puts it, success is like a quiet daily set of tasks. Real small. It's like that quiet walk to the library, that empty 24/7 library late at night, over and over and over. Or as I sit there studying other great people and I compare their actions with my own actions, over and over and over. Or as I sit doing 30 minutes of meditation a day, over and over and over. Making the choice to eat foods that enhance my brain neurotransmitters, over and over and over. It's a very quiet process where you're doing these simple little tasks, but finding love in those simple little tasks. It's not the big thing where you do this one thing and something big happens. Being able to make a success out of your life, it's not purely down to luck. You have more control over it than you think. You can decide to be successful. You can decide to have the fast cars and the big house. And it starts right here with your studying. Not because getting good grades is going to bring you success in the future. It's about the work ethic and the attitude you have towards your studying that will transfer to your work after you graduate. It's about believing that you can achieve something and doing whatever it takes to achieve it. It's about fine-tuning the skills you have to zero in on your goals. The skills that you are improving while you're studying. Work ethic, time management, reading, critical thinking, problem solving, decision making, focus, reasoning, persuasion, organization, overcoming obstacles, and self-motivation. These are all skills that all great students have improved and refined over years of efficient and effective studying. And it's these students that have made a decision that when the world is saying, that's impossible, you're not capable, your dreams will stay as dreams. They have that lone voice that goes, no, you know what? It is possible. Just watch me. They have gone through this process of growth, and they have pushed and pushed through all the obstacles that were thrown at them. It's important that you don't think of your studying as though it's all about passing your exams and getting a piece of paper at the end of it all so you can get a good job. Because it's so much more than that. And it's the great students that understand this. It's not about your exams. It's about the process and the journey you go on and the skills you refine over the years. It's about when you don't feel like studying, but you continue to push through and study anyway. It's doing the things that you need to do that you know you need to do when you don't feel like doing it. Because the reality is that most people can study when they're feeling good. Most people can study when they have no distractions, when they're in a quiet environment, when there's pressure put on them as a deadline is approaching. But just being able to study on the highs isn't good enough. You have to be able to study all the time. So learning how to refocus your mind on the lows and knowing the lows are going to end is a huge skill. The process is just as important as the actual prize, because the process is going to make you. The deeper the process, the greater the reward. Just remember, the prize is going to be huge. Your educational journey is going to be hard. I can promise you that. There are two paths you can take: the easy road or the hard road. If you choose the hard road, it means you choose to study when your friends are out partying. You start writing your report when the rest of the class don't even know the deadline yet. You're already awake at 5 a.m., on your way to the library when the rest of your friends are still sleeping. If you can find enough focus and motivation to do these hard things, the things that everyone else struggles with, then your educational journey will be easy. The grades will be easy. The scholarships will be easy. But it's a choice that you have to consciously make. You have to step up and take that path. And it will be lonely at times. It will feel like you're the only one doing this. But that's the whole point. The whole idea of this is to be standing at the top of the mountain while everyone else is still at the bottom. Because you took the path that so many people are unwilling to take. Okay, so you know where you want to be, at the top of that mountain. But why aren't you there yet? Why is it that you're stopping yourself from getting there? Why is it that you just settle for the grades that you're getting? Because doing well at school and university, it's not easy. It's difficult to get good grades. It takes a lot of focus, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of late nights and early mornings. But it's absolutely worth it. You are in charge of the life you live. And when you're in charge, you study hard, regardless of how you're feeling. Whether you're feeling lazy, tired, stressed, frustrated, bored, it doesn't matter. This doesn't stop you.
It's the easiest way to turn your grades around. Changing your attitude about your studying. It's when you decide that the grades you're achieving right now are not representative of what you're able to achieve. Because what you'll notice is that these students that are getting the top grades, their attitude towards their studying is completely different to those that are achieving the lowest grades. Attitude is more important than circumstances, more important than failures, more important than successes, more important than money. It's even more important than talent or skill. And we have a choice every day. What attitude are we going to have when approaching our studying? You can't change what grades you were given up to now. You can't change the exams that you failed. But you can change the attitude you have towards your studying today. And you know, it's going to be hard. You know there's going to be ups and downs, but that's what's going to make it worth it in the end. If you really want it enough, when it comes to graduation day, you're going to look in the mirror and say, I did this. Despite all the obstacles and setbacks, I did it. And that feeling you will have of accomplishment and triumph will be like nothing you've ever experienced. It's a feeling you will take with you for the rest of your life. So when it's time to study and your automatic reaction is to fight it and procrastinate, take a few minutes to think about it. Think about what you're doing. That small decision of choosing to procrastinate is you choosing to settle with what you have. Push past it. Study.
You just need to start studying. And I know you probably have dozens of excuses, all completely valid and reasonable excuses. You've had a long day and you want to relax. You want to go out and socialize with your friends. You want to chill out on social media for a few hours. You want to start studying tomorrow because you feel it's too late now. There are 1,000 reasons why you shouldn't start studying right now. But the truth is that none of them matter. The truth is that if you want to build something in your life, then you have to remember that you just need to get started. Because at the end of the day, getting started is the only thing that's holding you back.
Because as soon as you understand that what is holding you back is literally something as small as getting started, it's that small decision that you make when it's time to study, and you give yourself two options. You can procrastinate or you can study. Because if you choose to study, you can forget all the excuses. You can stop making them. You can stop giving in to them. No matter how valid they may seem at the time, you can finally decide that you are going to create that forward momentum, that you're going to step out of the average, that you're actually going to make your life easier by choosing to study rather than procrastinate. Because the times that I felt happiest, the times where I felt the most productive, were I wasn't looking for something extrinsic, but I was focused on myself and trying to push myself and develop myself and achieve things that required my absolute focus. I finally realized that my excuses were coming from the weak voice in my mind, holding me back and trying to make me a worse version of myself.
As Joe Rogan puts it, a lot of people have a problem with excuses. A lot of people are not used to pushing themselves. There's been many days where I didn't want to work out. I just didn't feel like I had the energy. I just had to force myself. And I think there's very few people out there that really know how to force themselves. It's a learned skill. That kind of disciplined focus, where you don't allow yourself to back out of things and you don't allow yourself to slack off. And there's not many people that keep themselves at such a high standard. And because of that, they come up with excuses. And excuses are a giant part of the problem.
So if you're one of those people, you need to put your foot down and say enough! You need to change your life. If you don't make any excuses, you're going to feel far better in the long term. Sure, in the short term it's going to suck, but in the long term it will absolutely be worth it. And when you don't feel like studying, just aim to do it 20 minutes. 20 minutes of light reading and see how it goes. And it will make you feel better, because 20 minutes is better than nothing. And after 20 minutes, see how you feel. And maybe you can do another 20. It's these baby steps, small, seemingly insignificant decisions that add up over weeks, months, years, that combine into greatness.
Leave excuses behind. You've got this.
You want to raise the bar. Raise your standards. Take risks. Most people won't do that. You see, most people engage in low life living. As Les Brown puts it, you begin to look at yourself, look at your dreams, and begin to experiment while stepping into greatness. If you are not willing to risk, you can't grow. And if you cannot grow, you cannot become your best. And if you cannot become your best, then you can't be happy. And if you can't be happy, then what else is there? Now, you can see the link between your studying and happiness. The more you push yourself in your studying to become better than you were yesterday, you will start achieving more and feeling better about yourself, which will make you happier. There's a direct link between your studying and your happiness. There are a few people who have decided within themselves, I'm going to make it. Some people aren't waiting for their lives to improve. Some people are moving on their own because they feel within themselves, I've got what it takes to make it. They are not afraid about tomorrow because of how they see themselves, because of what they feel that they deserve, because of what they feel that they can create for themselves. Because these people have decided, as they look at the future, as they look at themselves, there's a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. And when you have that kind of drive, nothing can stop you. Nothing. That's what life is about. Pushing and challenging. Looking for ways in which you can improve yourself. But not only is it important that you believe and begin to know that it's possible to live your dreams as you run towards it, but it's necessary that you work on yourself, that you develop yourself. It's necessary that you get the energy drainers out of your life. And that's the difference between people that are excelling in school and university and those that are not. People that excel in their education are people that understand that pain can be turned around and used as fuel to fight back harder. And that pain, if it's deep enough, if it hurts enough, it can carry you for the next 2, 3, even 4 or more years. It's that powerful. I like how Will Smith puts it. He said, 99% of people are not willing to do what it takes to make their dreams come true. And the world is so competitive and challenging, yet you're making yourself weaker. You're making yourself an easy victim for failure as soon as you graduate. Because the financial stability doesn't go to those that procrastinate every day. The health and well-being doesn't go to the people that are too lazy to go to the gym or eat healthily. You're stopping yourself from getting what you dream. Because these bad habits that you pick through your education, it's these habits that are going to stay with you for the rest of your life. The center of bringing any dream into fruition is self-discipline. Something as simple as eating when you need to eat and drinking when you need to drink. You don't procrastinate when you need to eat, right? Your studying should be the same.
Jocko Willink mentioned in his podcast a couple of years ago, the word motivation doesn't really mean what we think it means. We think it means that we're fired up to do something. We think that it means that we're eager and passionate to make something happen. And we think that somehow we should just be able to turn on that eagerness and turn on that passion. But you can't. You can't just turn on passion. You can't just turn on the desire to study. It just doesn't work that way. Honestly, that isn't even what motivation means. Motivation doesn't mean to motivate and scream and encourage. No. To motivate actually means to provide a motive, a reason why. So to motivate someone is to explain to them why they're studying, why they have assignments and exams that they're graded on, how it will help them, where it will take them, why they should continue to study and to work and to fight. And when you need motivation for yourself, don't look for someone to scream and yell. Don't look for someone else to give you motivation. Look at yourself. Look at yourself and remind yourself why. Why are you doing what you're doing? Remind yourself that this struggle, this temporary fight that you're in, this is what will make you stronger and faster and smarter.
Every day, we are making decisions that don't line up with our end goals, yet we keep doing it and doing it, even though in the long term it's destructive. If you've never been a disciplined person, now is the time to start. And it's not as bad or as hard as you think. The word discipline has negative connotations. It's often seen as a punishment or a painful experience. I'm not talking about discipline in a negative way. I'm talking about discipline in the sense that it will make you free. It will make you a happier person. a more productive person, a wealthier person, a healthier person. It can help you and support you to reach your dreams.
So then it brings us to the question, why are you studying? Why does it matter whether or not you pass an exam? How can it help you in the real world? Because it's a huge misconception that school or university is irrelevant for real-world success. It is necessary to build up the knowledge learned by generations, because the more knowledge you have, the more aware you are, and the better decisions you make. It helps you build up the self-discipline that is absolutely essential for success. You learn to push yourself to do things when you don't necessarily want to do them. Because when you start working, it's going to be exactly the same. There will be things that you don't want to do, but the people with a driven mindset will push through them and do them anyway. So it's up to you to do something. It's 100% on you. We are all products of our own choices. Our exam grades are the products of our own choices. Our financial position is the product of our own choices. Circumstances only define you if you let them. Every decision you have made has led you to the decision that you are in right now. So, do you like where you are now? Can you go further? Can you improve your grades further? Can you improve your exercise and diet further? There's no reason why you can't have everything you want in your life. You want to earn $1 million within a few years of graduating? You can. You want to become a world-renowned doctor or lawyer or surgeon? You can. There's no reason why you can't have everything that you dream of. You just have to practice extreme self-discipline. Keep improving yourself every day. Set goals, commit to them, and take consistent action.
Self-discipline is the underlying factor for every A-grade student. It's when you have an exam in 2 days and part of you wants to hang out with your friends, but the part of your mind that is looking after you, that is looking after your well-being and cares about you, it pushes you to go and study. It knows that if you don't, there will be huge consequences to follow. It knows that if you don't study, you won't get the grades you have the potential of getting. It knows that it will affect your enjoyment through university. It knows that it could even affect your job prospects once you graduate, and therefore affect your prosperity in the future. Self-discipline is self-love. If you want to be happy, you have to love yourself. Therefore, you have to be disciplined and do the right things when they need to be done. It's about looking after yourself. It's about taking care of yourself. The road to sustained happiness is through taking positive action, destroying procrastination, and practicing extreme self-discipline. And you will see this for yourself if you make that decision. If you decide today that you're going to prioritize your studying, that you're going to prioritize the actions that will lead you to reaching your long-term goals, that you're going to practice extreme self-discipline, you'll notice your life will become more streamlined. You will have fewer problems, fewer obstacles. You don't have to worry about an exam approaching because you'll be fully prepared for it anyway. You won't have to worry about exam resets because you won't have any. You'll make yourself proud. You'll make your family proud. You'll be healthier because you prioritize exercise and a healthy diet. Your life will be better in almost every way imaginable. And all it takes is self-discipline. Small acts of self-discipline. Consistently. Every day.
So, recognize that excuses are not valid. You have the time, you have the intelligence, you have the skills and the knowledge and the support and the discipline to get your studying done. So begin to live the life that you've always wanted. Start taking action now. There are no shortcuts. Push yourself. Improve yourself. Be the person that you know you can be.
Having the energy to change is the only thing that's going to get you out of this trap. If you're stuck on the grades you're getting right now, you need that discomfort. You need that dissatisfaction to pull you out. Because if you're happy with your grades, you're not going to push yourself harder. It's the discomfort that will push you to the next level. It's the discomfort, the feeling of not wanting to study, that is the very thing you need to hold on to. It's the very thing that most students run from. But don't run from it. Embrace it. Study, even when you don't feel like it. You need to make studying something worth fighting for. Something that gives you a purpose when you wake up in the morning. Human beings are all forces, and that force needs to have an effect. You need to have a reason why you're moving in a certain direction. And when all our needs are met, everything is relatively easy. We don't need to hunt for food. We don't need to fight to survive. We've lost a lot of basic purpose, and we haven't really replaced it with anything. We need a purpose. We need a mission, because when we have a mission, human beings are happy. I'm here to tell you that if you make studying your mission, if you make it your purpose, your educational journal will be taken to a whole new level. Let me tell you a story. Russell Burchard talked in his book in the 1800s about the happiest person he knew. The happiest person he could find was a groundskeeper on a farm, and every day he was at war with the rabbits of the farm. He just declared the rabbits were the enemy, and he went out with his gun and he would hunt as many as possible, and he would go from morning until night, and he would kill as many as he could, because the rabbits were his enemy. And he was so happy for one simple reason. He had a mission. He had a purpose. His purpose was to destroy the rabbits.
If you want something, you have got to be relentless. You've got to learn how to be creative. You've got to learn how to be resourceful. To hold on in spite of everything. The power to endure. This is the winner's quality. What this power is, I cannot say. All I know is that it exists, and it becomes available only when a man or woman is in that state of mind and has a clear purpose and is fully determined to not quit until they find it. You deserve this. Don't let anyone stop you. Decide that you're going to push yourself. You're in full control. Don't give up on yourself and live your life with purpose.
The feeling of getting the same mediocre grades, every exam, every report, every assignment. The feeling of being tired of getting beaten up by procrastination. The feeling of anxiety and stress every time a deadline approaches. It's the tiredness that will propel you to have the motivation to change, the desire to get off the ground and stand up and stop eating dirt. The battleground is in your mind. That's where the war is. It's in your head. That's where the enemy fights. That's where procrastination and temptations lie.
As soon as you wake up, the battle begins. And it continues throughout the day. Through temptations and seductions, the battle continues. And your friends see you studying and studying. They see you studying all day. And you make it look so easy. But they have no idea of the gunfire going off in your head. Because the real battlefield is in your mind. It's never the situation you find yourself in. It's always in your head. This is your moment. This is your year of transformation. Complete rethinking, re-examining, rescheduling, re-evaluating. This is the battlefield. It's not exams, it's not reports, it's not enemies, it's not teachers, it's not parents. That's not the battlefield. Stop wasting your time focusing on these things and look within you.
It is something that is ingrained in every successful person. To look at the external problems around you and improve and fix yourself to be able to overcome those problems. The ability to push through difficult times. The more you overcome today, the easier you will overcome obstacles tomorrow. And once you build up that momentum of improving your productivity, it becomes a whole lot easier. And it's funny how it works. The more you study, the more you prepare for your exams, the easier your exams will be. The easier university will be, the easier it will be to get a good internship or graduate job after you graduate. It's really very simple. The more effort you put into developing yourself and improving your studying, the easier your life will be.
Respect the struggle of your journey. Because it's the struggle that will build you to become stronger. But be persistent. Keep working on it. It's going to be hard, but that is an incredible thing. Because you're going to figure it out. You will pull through. You have enough time. You have enough resources. You have enough commitment. You will find a way to smash your exams. You will figure things out. When tomorrow comes, you might not know what steps to take, but believe in yourself. Why are you only getting average grades? How can so many people in your class get better grades than you? They're probably not smarter than you, and even if they are, that's only a small part of a far bigger picture. The biggest factor here in influencing whether your grades will be average or if your grades will be among the best in your class comes down to one thing: the amount of effort you put into your studying. And that doesn't just mean opening a textbook and reading for as long as possible until you feel tired. It's more than that. It means asking the professor questions, practicing with past paper questions, following a study schedule religiously, going to classes, eating healthily, staying hydrated, doing exercise daily, getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night. It's all these things, as well as studying 10 hours a day if that's what's required. Studying 10 hours a day is pointless if you're exhausted from getting 2 hours of sleep the night before. You're binging on junk food and you're missing all your classes. That's not the point of all this. It's the attitude you need to have that will only come with phenomenal grades. This attitude can lead to new opportunities, open doors, lead to scholarships, boost your confidence, and even improve your social life. So if you've got a problem with getting average or below average grades, then do something about it. Before you know it, your formal education will come to an end, and you'll be thrown into the world of work. So don't waste these years. Make the most of them. That means no wasting time, no procrastinating. The earlier you decide you're going to give your studying everything you've got, the better life you're going to have. Believe me, that 2 hours you were going to spend watching a film on Netflix will be far better spent studying. In the long term, these small decisions to study instead of procrastinating add up. You're more likely to be happier, healthier, and definitely wealthier. I'm not saying relaxing and chilling in front of Netflix is always bad, but if you're procrastinating for 4 or more hours a day when you know you should be studying, I'm saying that, right there, needs to be fixed. It's the grade A students that you should be chasing. You know who I'm talking about. The ones that seem to do well in every single exam that's thrown at them. But you don't see the hours and hours sitting at their desk with just their study lamp on while everyone else is doing things that don't matter. You don't see the parties they didn't attend or the films they haven't seen because they were so focused on studying. It's behind the scenes, in private, where the grind and hustle takes place. So, What are you going to do about it? I'll tell you what you're going to do. Observe them. Learn from them. Study them. This is your time. This is your moment. No one else is going to make it happen. Only you have control of your grades. Work hard. Work smart. Be consistent. 7 days a week. No excuses. No procrastination. You have it within you. You just have to find it. And if you keep this up, within a few weeks, you'll see your grades increase. Within a few months, you'll be among the top students in your class. Trust me. Try it.
As Eric Thomas says, you have to give it everything you've got. No more TV, no more partying, no more playing. If you don't have a 4.0, what you need to be doing is studying. Get off the phone! Sorry, I'm not available until the end of this year. You've reached the right number, but you've called me at the wrong time. I'm about to start studying now. I dare you to keep retaking your exams over and over until you pass. I dare you to have 100% attendance. I dare you to stop missing classes like you're soft. That's the problem with a lot of students. It's a soft generation, so they quit everything.
And if you create a culture of losing, if you keep going through life and not even caring whether you lose or not, if you keep failing and failing your exams because you're making the same mistakes again and again, if you keep letting it happen, then it's going to become a culture. You need to stop being a victim and start creating the life that you're capable of. There is no excuse for not living up to your full potential. This will only happen when you stop waiting for good things to happen to you and you start taking action to make them happen. That means stop waiting for the right time to study. Stop waiting until you feel ready. Just study straight away. Stop letting negative people influence you and drag you down with them. Push forward. I'm going to learn. I'm going to fight. I'm going to do what it takes to get the highest grade possible in these exams. I'm going to do everything in my power, every single day, to stop being a victim and start making something of my life.
In the words of Eric Thomas, you get from being a loser, low self-esteem, doubt, and fear. But if you can find your way to this side, guys, it's sweeter on this side. Greatness, it's about getting better, never settling, never saying, well, I got a PhD now, so I'm finished. You know at the end of the day, when you lay your head down and sleep, if you've pushed yourself as hard as you could, or if you just took the backseat and let life do what it wanted with you.
Most of you won't be successful. Because when you get tired, you quit. There's no motivation or drive there to push you through the tiredness. And you always want to blame other people. You always want to hold other people accountable. You're so quick to point out other people's flaws, but you never look at yourself and point out your own flaws. And if you don't do that, then you're not going to improve them and grow. There's a lot of potential within you, a lot of talent, but you need to realize that your talent is not going to create itself. Your talent isn't going to nurture itself.